Welcome to Rules I Refuse to Follow, a weekly bite-sized segment where I unpack the unspoken rules women are expected to follow in business, relationships, and daily life, and lovingly burn them to the motherfucking ground. This is Too Much, Not Enough, the podcast helping 6- and 7-figure female leaders understand how chasing success is causing anxiety and self-doubt, and how awakening your divine feminine energy will reignite flow, abundance, and ease. I'm your host, Hannah O'Donovan, and this week's rule: finish what you started. That's right. I am encouraging you to walk away from the things that you have started before you finish them. And no, I am not just saying this as someone with ADHD who struggles to complete projects. I actually have very good reason for this. In this sphere of entrepreneurship, I often hear about the best attributes of a leader, someone who is going to be successful. It's something that I study, that I look at, that I'm constantly analyzing and having conversations about. And one of the themes that comes up over and over again is this idea that people who are ultimately successful in running their businesses are people who can make decisions quickly, people who don't get stuck spinning their wheels, who don't wait for something to be perfect before they put it out there, who are able to make quick decisions and iterate as they move instead of saying, okay, we've got to get this perfect, then we're going to put it out there. Instead, they're making decisions quickly and then responding to the data that they collect by putting those things out there. And I would argue that a subsection of that successful trait of being able to keep things moving is knowing when to walk away from something that isn't working for you. Because finishing is not a virtue if it costs you your peace. Just because you started something doesn't mean that you're meant to finish it, especially if what you started was born from external pressure, the need to prove yourself to someone else, or from people pleasing. So when you outgrow something, that is not the same as abandoning it. Your nervous system, your intuition, and your evolution are all very valid reasons to shift paths. And if you are listening to this and you have experienced a lot of your life not being able to finish projects, you've probably gotten feedback on that has taught you that it is a negative trait or some sort of failure to not finish what you started. And while I do think that when something is aligned and it is the right move for you, or at least the right move with the information that you have now, that it's important for us to finish what we start. Sometimes that fear of finishing comes from a fear of failure or perfectionism, which is kind of a roundabout way of being afraid of finishing something, because if you can't do it perfectly, you don't have to do it at all. And if you don't do it at all, then you don't have to potentially deal with the repercussions of that. So I am not advocating that you don't finish anything that you've started. What I am saying is it's been such an important part of my evolution as a business owner, as a female leader, to know when I have outgrown something and I need to walk away. Even if I have poured a lot of time into it, even if I have poured a lot of money into it, and even if I am concerned about letting people down by walking away. Because continuing out of guilt just keeps you like leashed energetically to something. I should finish this is usually a thinly veiled, I don't want to disappoint someone else by walking away or disappoint myself by walking away. And that is not this like heroic devotion. It can actually be self-abandonment. And when you are trying to push something forward or put something out there or continue a relationship even from a place of duty, of guilt, then that is the energy that is going to co-create what that project or relationship grows into. Why would you want to put the energy of guilt and obligation into something creative or something that you want to share with the world? That doesn't make any sense. And more than anything, your energy is so sacred. So even again, if you are partway through something, if you have put time and money into it and you think, oh my gosh, all of that is going to waste, think about what is going to waste if you keep trying to pour yourself into misaligned momentum. Because the divine feminine doesn't cling to things. She closes loops, she surrenders, and she knows when to cut the cord and recycle what no longer serves her mission. One of the bravest things that you can do is listening to your own intuition and recognizing that if finishing this thing means shrinking, silencing, or pushing through Jed, then not finishing is the real act of self-trust. And it does not mean you are a failure. It's about building that discernment between when you are resisting finishing something because you are scared versus you are resisting finishing something because it is now not in alignment with who you are and where you are going. And it is absolutely okay to make the decision to pull away from something halfway through, 3/4 of the way through, 95% of the way through. It's not wasted time. And I think that the example of leaving a long-term relationship is perhaps one of the best examples of this. And as someone who did that, just because you put 7 years of your life into someone, into building a relationship with them, and then realize that you need to walk away, does not mean that walking away just completely negates those 7 years. I think that we get taught in society that if you walk away, that you're basically like resetting, starting over, you're erasing what came before, but you're not at all. Everything that came before taught you something for your next adventure, for your next evolution. They are all building blocks. They are all information and data that you can use to create something even more beautiful in the future. Because I deeply, deeply believe that in addition to the successful trait of being able to make decisions quickly, that being able to make the decision to walk away despite the investment is perhaps actually an even more important skill. And I'm not gonna lie, it may hurt. It may feel really crappy. You might want to get under the covers, cry for a few days, have a little bit of a pity party, and then pick yourself up and keep moving on. And that is why I reject this idea that you must finish everything that you've started. Is it a good skill to build to be able to see a project through? Absolutely. But it is just as important a skill to build to know when you are misaligned, when you need to close a loop, and surrender to something even better coming into your life. The woman who can look at what she's invested and go, I don't care, this is not for me anymore, that woman is unfucking stoppable. Trust me. Because there is a shift inside of you when you decide to walk away from an investment of time, of money, of whatever it is, that makes you unstoppable as you move on to your next adventure. So that is this week's rule that I am saying the big old fuck you to. Join me next week for another one.